Welcome back to First Take. You know, the Celtics have been a different team since Joe Mazzulla took over as head coach 3 seasons ago. In his first season at the helm, Mazzulla and the Celtics won 57 games. They made it to the conference finals. Boston lost to the Heat in a wild 7-game series where they came back from down 3 games to none. Then Boston won 64 games in the following season, 14 more games than the next closest Eastern Conference team, on their way to their 18th NBA title when they beat the Mavericks in 5 games. All signs pointed to a repeat as the Celtics recorded another 60-win season before superstar Jayson Tatum ruptured his Achilles in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Knicks. Boston went on to lose the series in 6 games, and guess who we have here? We now welcome in Boston Celtics superstar Jayson Tatum here on behalf of Vertex. Thanks so much for being with us, Jayson.
Thanks for having me.
I just mentioned the injury. Sorry to bring it up. I'm sure you didn't love watching the video, but nonetheless, how are you feeling? How's the rehab going?
It's going all right. It's been a long journey. Believe it or not, today is 19 weeks. Every Tuesday is a week. It's been a long journey, some ups and downs, but I'm getting there.
When you say it's been ups and downs, talk about that for a second. Obviously being injured, but what's the hard part? Is it just going through it, trying to rehab, or is it knowing that in all likelihood you're going to miss the entire upcoming season?
It's tough to pinpoint like what is the toughest part. It's phases. I think the first phase is accepting that this happened. I was in disbelief for about 2 weeks.
Right.
And the other tough part was, ever since I was a kid, I could always envision myself getting drafted, winning the championship, having my own shoe, cover 2K, all the things. This was the first time it was hard. I couldn't envision, like I'm sitting there at my mom's house with my foot elevated, and it's like, it was hard to envision playing basketball. It was hard to envision walking up steps, and I think that was kind of like defeating in that moment. So it's things like that that, there were some low moments throughout this journey.
But I'm sure as you inch closer and closer to recovery, maybe things become a little bit clearer, right? And as Stephen A. said, you're likely going to miss all of next season. So how are you staying connected with your team, with your teammates?
Like you said, it's been a lot, and it's been a great support system and reasons why that, I've gotten to this point. I think obviously a big reason why I'm here is to announce my partnership with Vertex Pharmaceuticals. There was a period of 4 weeks where, you introduce 50% weight bearing, and I'm on crutches. So I have surgery, and I haven't put any weight on this side for a month. So talking to the doctor, he's like, you're going to experience some discomfort and some pain. And that's when, we had a conversation. We went through my medical history, and he prescribed me Jornavix, which is a non-opioid for moderate to severe acute pain. And like anything, has side effects that, you should talk to your doctor about. But for me, it relieved the pain, and it gave me a clear mind going into rehab at that moment. I was confident to attack whatever I was trying to do, during that time.
When I think about you, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to be the upside to it. I mean, you may not feel this way, but I do. You're a 6-time All-Star, you're a 5-time All-NBA player. Obviously, you're a champion, conference finals, NBA finals. You've done all of this. But there's been an absence of appreciation for who you are. You're a great player, model citizen. Everybody loves you. But a lot of people look at you and know, when they talk about superstars in the NBA, they don't talk about you like that, even though they know that's what you are. And I'm wondering whether or not you being out is going to elevate the level of appreciation that you will ultimately receive. Have you thought about that at all in terms of people looking at you, knowing what you bring to the table, but somehow, some way, it's almost never enough?
So, first of all, I appreciate that.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
You do.
And, from my perspective, it's like, I live a great life. I've accomplished a lot. I've been able to take care of my family. I've largest contract in NBA history. Like, I've done everything I've, set out to do, and I'm not complacent. There's still a lot of things I want to do. Right. I'm certain I'm not the only person that feels like they don't get enough credit. I think that's just the nature of being one of the best players in the NBA, that you're going to get criticized, when things don't go the right way, and you feel like you never get enough credit. So I'm not going to say, like, everybody's against me or anything like that. I'm certain my mom might feel that way.
Yeah.
And people close to me. But, I haven't thought about it that way. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of fans out there that appreciate what I do, what I bring to the table. So it's more about the people that appreciate what I do, not trying to gain, people that don't appreciate me.
Shay, let me go with him here because I got to talk to you about the Boston Celtics for a second here. I did not like seeing you get injured. I was not happy about that.
Right.
I was happy y'all lost though, because to my Knicks. I'm not gonna lie about that either. Okay.
You knew it was coming, right?
You know how I am, all right. But as I'm looking at Boston right now, you're out. Drew Holiday's gone now. Porzingis is gone now. Horford's probably gone. I'm wondering, how are you feeling about the Boston Celtics for this upcoming season? I think it's a prime opportunity for Jaylen Brown to show what he's made of.
Absolutely.
Because the brother can ball. I don't think he's appreciated enough either. But what are your thoughts about the Boston Celtics, considering the myriad of changes that have taken place?
Well, for one, this is like maybe the third time. I haven't said I'm not playing this season.
Oh.
Okay.
He was kind of looking at us sideways when we brought that up.
So
I'm thinking Achilles. All right,
No,
that's
for sure.
fair. That's fair.
The most important thing is a full recovery, being
Right.
100%.
That's right.
Not rushing.
Yeah, don't rush back.
At all.
Don't do that.
But also, I don't go to rehab 6 days a week for nothing. Okay. But with that being said, with being a part of the organization and the Celtics, there is a standard that we play to, that we uphold, regardless of, who we have in the lineup, who's on the team, who's not. There's a sense of pride that we have when we put that uniform on, and we always are competing to win a championship. And that standard will not change.
So back to the injury really quick, and I appreciate you sharing with us your journey and your focus and all of that. You weren't the only superstar.
I'm just looking. Keep going.
You weren't the only superstar that went down with this injury. Like Tyrese Halliburton went through it. Damian Lillard went through it. Have you communicated with those guys at all about this process and maybe returning next season or not returning next season?
Yeah, I think, no, 100%. We have all been in communication. DeJounte Murray is somebody, Dame, Tyrese that I've talked to throughout. And it all happened this season, and we're all at different points of our rehab and recovery. So it's less about like, yo, when are you coming back? I text Dame and DeJounte all the time because they're ahead of me, like, yo, like, what are you doing now? What are your workouts looking like now? So we're all in the same boat, just kind of checking up on each other and keeping it in touch. And it's been very helpful.
Let me go back to the Boston Celtics again, please.
Please.
Before the injury took place, y'all shocked everybody because the Knicks won the first 2 games against y'all in that series. We didn't see that coming. And Jalen Brunson won't let me live it down. How I had y'all taking them out in 5 initially, okay? And then they shocked the world. They went up 2-0. How are y'all down 0-2, losing those first 2 games to the Knicks in the series? How'd that happen?
You still got to play the game, and you got to give them credit. They played well, especially down the stretch. Jalen made some incredible plays. Mikal Bridges had some incredible plays on defense. And we didn't play well enough to win. Right? You have to give the other team credit. We played well enough to win Game 3. And Game 4, right? It was a back and forth game. It was a really good game. I think I got hurt. We might have been down 7 or 8. And I've played this in my head 1,000 times. What happens if I never got hurt? And I've wrestled with that. We go home and they won Game 5. And I'm not going to say what would have happened, but I just know I've been down 3-2 on the road 3 times in my career, and I was 3-0.
I would have been very worried if you were healthy.
Pulled that right out of his hat.
I would have been very, very nervous. I've seen you when you dropped 46 on Milwaukee in a closer when y'all was about to be closed. I would have been very, very nervous. I'll be the first to admit that.
I'm going to give the Knicks credit. They beat us, and they deserve it.
You gave them credit.
And you give them credit, so no problem. Having said that, I now scour the Eastern Conference, and here's how I look at it. I hope you come back. I don't want you to come back until you're 100% healthy.
Absolutely.
Get 100% healthy, man. But I'm assuming it's going to be hard for you to do that this season. So I'm looking at Boston without you. I'm looking at Milwaukee without Dame. I'm looking at Indiana without Halliburton. And now you moved Miles Turner.
Yep.
I see Orlando and they got Payne. I got that part. I can't ignore Detroit and Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I see this as a prime opportunity for the New York Knicks to take advantage of this opening here. It ain't our fault, you got injuries. It's a prime opportunity.
That's part of the game.
How are you looking at the Eastern Conference? What do you see when you look at your Boston Celtics and what they're going to have to go up against this season?
So this would be going into my 9th year. I think everybody at the start of the season usually is feeling good about their team. It's a fresh start. It's a reset. Everybody's 0-0. New faces and new places. It's hard to say, like, who's going to be what. Like, the games still have to be played. We have to see who works well with each other, who doesn't, who stays healthy and all the things. So it's too early to tell. But I love the guys that we have on our team. I love the core group that we still have that won the championship together with some new guys. We still got the best coach in the NBA.
What do you? I like Mazzulla, no doubt about it. He's a champion. We can't take anything away from him. But what are your expectations, bless you? What are your expectations of what Jaylen is going to do this year without you?
I think you look at any guy in a role, right? And then it usually happens throughout the season. Some nights that guys are out, guys are expected or have more of an opportunity. With myself and Al and KP and Drew, we lost a couple guys, right, that were key to our offense, our team as a whole. So I expect JB to have a bigger role. I expect Derek White to have a bigger role. Sam Hauser and Peyton and Baylor and all those guys. Nemi, who's going to be probably starting center for us. I'm excited because I've seen those guys this summer work their tail off, understanding the role that they're going to be put in, at least to start the season. And I have the utmost faith in all those guys.
Can I ask a question about your head coach, Joe Mazzulla? Because I feel like he does, like when he approaches the media, he has this kind of stance about him that I am certain is different than how he is in the locker room with you. What kind of coach is he? What is your relationship like with him?
Unbelievable coach. One of the best humans I've been around. I love Joe to death. And I think part of being a coach, right, you have to understand the game, X's and O's, manage the in-game adjustments, and he's great at that. And our staff is great at that. What Joe excels is he really cares about his players. And he lets you know that every single day. And that takes time and that takes trust. And over time you have to earn that. And Joe has done that with everybody in the organization, that he really cares about us as a person, basketball aside.
Yeah.
I got no problems with him because he's a real one. He lets you know where he stands.
Yes.
If he doesn't want to let you know, he tells you he doesn't want to let you know. I love it. I wish more coaches had that kind of personality. Personally, I don't mind him at all. But I got to ask this, and I don't know if anybody's ever asked you about this, because when I think about you, when you were drafted 3rd overall. For a lot of folks out there who don't remember, the Boston Celtics had the 3rd pick, okay? Now, they had that. They made a deal with Philadelphia. Philadelphia could have had Jayson Tatum.
Oh, no, don't
and
rub salt in the
instead,
wound
they
there.
passed up on him. He got hoodwinked. Colangelo got hoodwinked by Danny Ainge. Boston moved down, and they led them to believe they had no intention of taking Jayson Tatum, when in fact they had every intention of taking Jayson Tatum. And everybody was thinking, yeah, that's who you take. But Markelle Fultz ended up with the number 1 pick, so that was one mistake. And number 2, the great Irvin Magic Johnson is the only argument we ever got into to this day. That draft was when he drafted Lonzo Ball. And I was like, you draft Jayson Tatum. And if you're not going to draft Jayson Tatum, you draft De'Aaron Fox, because De'Aaron Fox gave it to him in the NCAA tournament, and he's going to be better on the pro level, even though I like Lonzo Ball. When you reflect on when you were drafted, I know you're happy to be in Boston, clearly you are. Yeah. But did you ever think about the fact that you could have been a Laker, you could have been a Philadelphia 76ers, and you look at those organizations and you say, you need to pay for passing on me? Do you ever think about that at all?
I would say earlier in my career.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant was my favorite player. The Lakers were my favorite team growing up. You get so close to accomplishing your dream of being drafted, and you see the Lakers have the 2nd pick, and you're like, I might, go to the Lakers. It's my favorite team.
Right.
So that hurt a little bit. Just, feeling like there was no consideration that they wanted to draft me. Not necessarily like I wanted to play for Philly. I wanted to be the number 1 pick. I felt like I was the best player. So, yeah, I was upset a little bit at first. And
Not a grudge holder. That's not what he
I'm
is.
just wondering how you feel when you go against those 2 franchises, like to remind everybody, you could have had me.
I mean,
this is what you're missing out on. That's all I was asking.
I played Philly 3 times in the playoffs.
Yes.
We won every time.
I was just going to say, he knows the record.
I'm fully aware.
But like you said, everything worked out, and I'm glad I'm on the Celtics.
Real quick, keep the shoes. Jordan Tatum 4s.
Okay.
Dropping next month. They're
October
Cardinals
10th.
colors.
All right.
What size shoe you wear? What size shoe do you wear?
Thank you.
How you going to say you, but to turn away from me like that?
A woman's 9, please.
Nine.
Thank you.
I'll make sure I got you.
13, man.
Yeah.
That team.
I got some black and green ones coming.
All right.
Jason, we
You gonna
appreciate
do
you.
that?
Thanks for hanging
You gonna
out
do
with us.
that?
Yeah, we get you.
Oh.
This is a great day.